for the live training portion of the virtual roadshow. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. Really appreciate everybody out there and your support for 21st Century and the virtual roadshow. It's been an unbelievable success. Thanks to you guys. We would not be who we are if not for you guys. So really want to thank you guys for all your participation. So we have Jason Davis here with High Tech Network and Jake Valera with Lutron. We're going to go over a brand new product that Lutron just launched at CEDIA. And Jason will bring us through it, the new Select series of shades from Triathlon. So we'll go through this. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop it in the Q&A, and we'll get those answered for you. I have a quick poll I'm going to put up as well. Let's see if we get any interest in the new Triathlon Select shades, and let's do it, Jason. What do you say?
You guys ready to rock?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't.
They've been rocking. They've been rocking all week.
It's been a great week. I'm excited to show you guys the new Triathlon Select shades. This is a brand new. These launched at CEDIA, and for any of you that don't have experience or not, including shades in your portfolio of products, this product makes it really easy, profitable, and it's a great value to your customers. So let's get going. All right, so we're talking about the overall shading market, and then dive right into the Triathlon Select shades. So here we go, and we'll overview selling, measuring, quoting, ordering, installation, and integration. So the market potential for shades is just huge, unless there's a house with no windows, and that's not the case. I keep waiting for somebody to laugh, but now get them muted. So you're doing, a potential install. You got a router, some doorbells, thermostats, a couple cameras, maybe a couple rooms of audio. And even if you do, a Radio Raw 3 system or Caseta with 10 or 20 switches, there are 10 to 20, if not more, windows in the house that your customer is going to cover with something. I know many of you are already, selling shades, but if not, we have some exciting things to go over right now. So just a couple things. If you're not selling shades, there could be a couple reasons. They're complicated. You have to measure them. Another maybe window companies involved. We're going to talk about how Lutron made it super easy to install these great looking shades, inspect them, and sell them so that you can enhance your profits and grow your project sizes. One of the things, shades are difficult to estimate. Historically, you would have to measure the windows, ask for a quote, and it could be some time before you were able to give your customer pricing. And anytime your customer they wait on something, they can change their mind. So Lutron, we're going to go over a couple of quick quoting tools that make, you can give your customer a shade estimate right there in front of them. So Triathlon Select Smart Shades from Lutron. I'm just going to wait for the shades to go up there. As you notice here, these new shades are unlike the currently or older style Triathlon, which are still great shades. These are exposed rollers, so very low profile. They're wireless, so they use standard D-cell batteries, so you can put them anywhere. And as you're going to see here in a couple minutes, they're really aggressively priced and easy to quote. And then as well, these shades integrate with the entire portfolio of Lutron. controls, whether it's just a Pico directly talking to the shades, Caseta, raw, and then if you have a raw processor, any control system you're doing as well. Sean, I said D cell.
Yes, he's correct.
Lutron explored using rechargeable batteries in their battery shades, and they just found that D cells gave more constant voltage and performance over time. And with some of their patented technologies, you get 2 years of battery life with a couple raise and lowers each day. So they're not going to run out in a couple months. So wire free, the batteries go inside the tube. Lutron recommends Duracell, which ProCell is same company as Duracell, so got a great solution. I tell you what, I buy my batteries at 21st because they're way less expensive than Home Depot or Walmart. I had to give you a little plug there, Mark. We made these shades really simple. There's a basic set of 4 curated fabrics, a white and a gray, 1% and blackout. And if you use these fabrics, they're popular. They blend in with lots many aesthetics and homes, and they look great. And it's a really minimalist design, which fits into a lot of the home decor right now. They're just beautiful.
Hey Jason, I'll jump in for that last slide if you could go back.
Okay.
Just a sec. So this is Jake. I'm directly with Lutron, but I wanted to jump at the curated fabrics in the middle because this kind of ties back into when Jason was talking about the difficulty of estimating them. What this does, and we're going to talk about the 4 fabrics we came out with, which are called Haven. We have the light filtering, and then we also have blackout for these Triathlon Select shades. And the biggest thing is when you would go into a house before, if you've ever done Lutron shades, you have a big fabric book, right? You're showing the homeowner hundreds of fabrics. You're playing interior designer, and you don't know what fabric is going to make the price do what. They could literally change thousands of dollars depending on the fabric you pick. This is giving you an option of very popular colors, and the price is not going to jump. So you don't have to, show them a ton of fabrics. You can show them 4 fabrics, pick the one, and it's not going to be hard to estimate because you're going to be able to count windows and basically multiply it, right? So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there, why we have these 4 specific fabrics for Triathlon Select.
All right. So a little just specs on the shades themselves. Exposed bracket, very small profile, 3/4 of an inch light gap on each side. Even though it's one bracket, they're versatile. Outside mount, inside the window frame, or on the trim above. They come with spacers, so that if you mount them above the window trim, you can pull them out so that the fabric doesn't, knock up against the trim as it starts to go down. And then native integration with all of the Lutron lighting control families, as well as just standalone Pico controls. And these are available in widths from 22 inches to 108 inches wide and 20 inches to 120 inches tall. So, how to sell shades? Just as you're walking through the house designing the AV system or security or even the raw 3 system, just look out for windows that might be a candidate for shades. Several ways, in a bedroom, for instance, or a media room, they might want blackout shades if there's a window to, knock out a lot of the light. If it's a family room, really one that faces, the east-facing windows are going to get a lot of sunlight as the sun rises up until midday, and the same thing with the west, facing windows in the afternoon. So you can, reduce glares in the rooms and also UV damage through unexposed or, open windows can make furniture fade or art or even hardwood floors, impact that. So there's several different ways to talk to your customers about why they need shades. It's not just to block out light, it's to protect furniture and also heat dissipation. So open window, when the sun comes in, the room gets hot. If you have a roller shade there, the sunlight will reflect off the fabric and can reduce the room temperature.
Hey,
So,
Jason, before
yep.
let me interrupt real quick. One of the questions on here in our poll is, are you currently selling shades? Looks like it's like 60-40. For those 40% in there, if you just type in, are you interested in selling shades? Do you want to sell shades? That way, give us an idea just to contact you of how to get, set up the Lutron Pro account and everything. Thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna, in a couple slides down, we're gonna talk about the process. I look forward to reaching out to 40% of you and helping you get going with shades and be successful. All right, tools to help sell. So there's some, we can get you a folder that has homeowner brochures, fabric samples, and a window cling. Mark, well, we can talk after this about these are now available, so we can get those into the branches.
Sweet.
And just so I'm going to deviate from the slide for a second. This is the homeowner brochure. So it's a really nice piece to go over, the design, the fabrics, the price point. It has some nice lifestyle images there. And this bad boy again. So any questions about just overall about the shades themselves before we get into measuring and things like that? Does not look like there are. Oh.
These can be set up individually as well as in conjunction with a control lighting system.
So if you pair these directly with a Pico, then the shades, mated to that. So it's sort of either or. If you have a lighting control system like a RAW 3 system, you can pair the Pico and the shade to the processor and still use the Pico as a control. So very easy integration either way. So how to measure? First thing is make sure the window's deep enough if you're going inside mount. Then you measure the width of the window to the nearest eighth of an inch. Measure the height of the window inside the frame, and always add an inch or two for good measure. Any extra fabric will just stay on the roller. Don't add an inch or two of width. That will create a problem. And that's it. And it's measure the window at the top. There's such a historically we used to train on measuring 3 times for roller shade, but the light gap is 3/4 of an inch. So if the window is a little bit more narrow at the bottom, as long as that bracket fits nice in the top of the window, there won't be any issues with the fabric hidden in the side of the window frame. If your window is more than 3/4 inch at a square, that's a bigger problem.
A few questions just came in, Jason. you have 3 windows next to each other, can the shades be synced?
So by synced, I think you mean they from one button press they all go down and up together.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Inside mount, how to change the batteries?
So we go back here.
There it is.
This
Right
slide,
there.
sort of the tube pulls out.
It comes out.
So if you're inside mount, there's a measuring tool we're going to show you in a couple slides that makes sure that you don't mount. If the window frame is really deep, you want to make sure it's far enough towards the front, the room facing side, so that the battery door can clear out enough to remove the batteries, but it just pops right out and they come out of the tube.
Thanks for going over that again.
Yeah, and I'll jump in for the control and sync. Just a general rule of thumb with the Pico remote. If you guys have used the Pico remote for Lutron before, the general rule is 30 feet through construction, 60 feet line of sight of the distance a Pico can control. If any product that can pair with the Pico remote is within that range, a Pico can control an unlimited amount of controls. Caseta dimmers, shades, unlimited if it's in reason. And then I think I saw a question about the depth for inside mount. From the window in the frame, you're going to need at least 3.5 inches for Triathlon select shades.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. So outside mount, these are for shades mounted outside the window frame, either on the trim or above the trim. On the trim is a really nice look. However, lots of new houses these days have just flat trim, but if they don't, it's more like traditional sort of, you see the textured sort of, trim here that's not flat. It might be best to mount it above the window if it won't, sit on there nice and square. And then if the trim has depth, these ship with spacers, so it pulls the shade away from the wall, so the fabric clears the window trim. Just the same as measuring inside mount, measure the width of the window. So bracket to bracket, where you want the edges of the brackets to be on the outside, to the nearest 1/8 inch. Measure the height of the window right here. Always good to add an inch or two. And just to explain that, if you add an inch of fabric, let's say you're mounting it above the trim and you want to go up a little bit, it allows that flexibility. And you can always set the limits in the shade so that, it stops at the bottom where you want it to. So speaking of the measuring tool, I wish this thing had been out for many years. I know you all know how to use a tape measure, but Lutron's released a select measuring tool that makes it easy to measure windows up to 48 inches wide. It's basically a little bar that slides, more narrow or more wide, and it has some screws to hold it in place. And it also has these little arms right here that will ensure that you have enough clearance in the window to get the battery compartment out. And then you hold it up there, and it even has holes. You can even just mark the holes when you measure, because these bad boys ship in 5 days. So when you go back, you just hold up the bracket and run a screw in, and you can probably hang one of these in 5 minutes or less. These are available through your favorite distributor, 21st Century. So yes, Darren, this is sort of a template measuring tool. It just makes it quick and easy, and the biggest thing for me is it lets you make sure that the window depth of the frame for inside mount is sufficient. So some other tools. We talked about making this easy. There's a quoting guide. Here's a little snippet right here, but I'm going to pull up the whole thing. So basically, you can have this either on your iPad or a laptop or your phone, or even we can get some printed out versions. And it's a little pricing matrix here, and this is the suggested retail price. So as you notice, any window 48 up to 48 inches wide and up to 80 inches tall for the 1% fabric, $5.99 list. That same shade, the blackout version of the fabric, any window up to 48 inches wide and 80 inches tall, $6.49. If the window is wider or the fabric needs to be taller, you just take the measurements of the window, find the spot on the matrix. So if this window is, let's say, 68 inches wide and 100 inches tall, it'd be $11.45. So within 5 minutes, you could make a quick quote. This does not include labor. Make sure you add that to your customer and get them to commit to it, and hopefully, make a deposit or buy some shades right there before you leave the house. Now, if you want other fabrics, there are additional matrices. Each of these types of fabric has a price level. So you want to use Basket Wave 90, that's a price level 3. And you go here to the price level 3 and find the price of the shade. Steve, I agree. It's a really cool tool. Darren, did you maybe ask another question? Does what come apart? Are we talking about the tool or the shade?
Is the template, what does it say? So is the template measuring tool per SE? Is it like section maybe? I don't know.
Oh, no, per se. I was referring to this other
Oh, okay.
one down below. So the template measuring tool has these little screws that lock it in place so it slides, narrow or wide. So anywhere from 22 inches to 48 inches wide.
There's also a video on YouTube about how to measure with the measuring tool. And then I saw a couple other questions come in. The battery life is 2 years for Triathlon Select. So yes, it is not that general 3 to 5 for Triathlon, Sequoia QS, Lutron shades. So it's 2-year battery life.
Which that's still, for a battery shade, really good battery life. Some of the other types of shades that have rechargeable batteries, you might get 6 months out of this. Oh, and when you're quoting this, I would add 3% to include the shipping charges that, all Lutron shades have a 3% of their price shipping charge. Don't give away free money if you don't have to. What's the margin? Might be a Mark or a Sean question.
Yeah, it's probably a Sean question. One should
I think it's about 30, 40 points. Sean?
It's like 30 points.
That sounds right. Between 30 and 40.
All right. Please Roll through these. So, just in short, this is a fixed MSRP for windows from 22 to 48 wide and 80 inches tall. They ship in 5 days. White brackets, and then those two they ship in 5 days as long as you're using one of the Haven fabrics. If you want a different type of fabric, then that lead time could go up about 15 days, assuming that fabric is in stock. So just to one more time, the light filtering fabric, 1% for that, the standard window size up to 48 by 80, $5.99 list price, and then $6.49 for the blackout. What do you guys think about that?
I know Lutron shades starting at $5.99, and there's a lot of people smiling and clapping behind their screens, right?
Hopefully 123 folks out there. So we sort of talked about the other fabric options. If you go to the website lutronfabrics.com, you can look at pictures of color options for the other types of fabrics. There's a large library. Any roller shade fabric Lutron has can be applied to these shades. Let's see, I'm going to take a quick second. Yeah, Steve, when you blackout fabric, unless you use side channels or outside mount and really cover all the trim, there are going to be light gaps. Lindsay, for a full fabric book, I'll reach out to your 21st, whichever branch is closest to you. They can help you order that. I know the list price is like $750. So probably $400 or $500. And yes, Jonathan, if you go to lutronfabrics.com and you have a My Lutron account, you can order up to 20 12 by 12 swatches, and they'll ship it right to you. So that you can show a homeowner or interior designer or builder and let them, choose from the fabrics. I recommend picking a couple of options in the color they're thinking about. Let's see.
Are you getting into the process here, Jason?
We are. Yep.
All right.
So yeah, I just wanted to check the questions before I move to the next step. So, how to order? We should have Mark, did you do a poll question? Are you currently a Lutron Pro?
Yes, that's one of them.
Oh, sweet.
Do you have a pro account? And it's about 50-50. I mean, it's 55 yes, 45 no.
All right.
So we got to get those 45s to get registered.
Let's get it done by Tuesday, okay?
Over the weekend. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
While they're not playing Tetris in our arcade, they should be registering for Lutron.
Yep.
Pro account.
So the process to order, super simple. And in the past, like with regular triathlon shades, there was a training requirement. Lutron's made this so easy to spec and order these and install them that they have a couple of YouTube videos to go over some key points, but they're so easy, even Mark can do it. No,
I'm laughing.
All you need is a pro number and a window, and you're able to install Lutron shades.
So here's the link to lutron.com/pro. There's a little screenshot of what it does. So apply to the Pro program. This little application and company info, things like that you enter, and then register for My Lutron. Step 2, if you have an existing My Lutron account, we tie your Pro number to that. If not, you can easily create one. On your My Lutron account page at the top right, you can add the Pro number to your profile. And then once you have that linked, there's a tab in here called My Projects. And you open that. And you can easily just enter the dimensions of the window and then request to place the order. The first time you submit an order, it'll say set my distributor. 21st century is a great one.
Well done, Jason.
I was waiting for you to say something.
I know.
Well, and if you're new to Shades, 21st has folks in every branch that have experience with Shades for many years, so they can help answer any questions. We want to set you up for success and help you learn what you need and be successful selling, because you can truly make a lot of extra money on the projects you're currently doing, or go back to old customers by selling Shades. And the most difficult part is measuring the window. If you get that right, they're very easy to install, and they're going to work every time. That's just at the core of Lutron's value proposition is we build reliable products that last for years and years, years and years. So this is a couple little quick screenshots of my projects. So when you go into my projects, you would create a new project, name the project, and then you would go and click add product, name the shade right here, enter the width and the height. You have to do that in 1/8 inch increments. So if it's like 3/16, then do 1/8. You choose inside mount or outside mount, depending on how you measure that window. Pick your fabric, and then click save.
Yeah, just going back to the other question with other fabrics being available. So if you see at the top left, select roller is the one selected. When you pick your fabric, you can type in other fabrics. What's going to change in the top right, if you've never used my projects, it says ships in how many business days, and then it says the list price. Those two things will go up if you do not use Haven fabrics. Just keep that in mind. If that does jump, it's because of the fabric.
Absolutely. Or if you go beyond 48 inches wide or 80 inches tall, the price will increase as well. The bib, they work with a hub or without. You can pair them directly with a Pico and just have a point-to-point control, or you can pair them with a SATA hub or a RAW3 processor. So full flexibility right there. So once you make your quote, here's an example. You would see a list price, and you request pricing. And then the folks at 21st will reach out to you and have you pay for them, and then they'll be ordered. Mark, if you have a SATA or RAW3 processor, they can be controlled with Alexa and Google, other voice control, standalone. That won't work. So you got to have one form of, one of the options for Lutron processor.
Yeah, for the Caseta, it has to be the Pro Bridge.
All right, so these will be listed. I don't know if they're already in the yes, Raw2 Select as well. Although, for those of you using Raw2 Select, I would highly recommend taking a shot at just using a Raw3 processor. It gives you the newer Lutron app, and the ability to add like the newer Sonata controls to the project as well. Not much more of a price increase than the Raw2 Select. Also, the Raw3 processor lets you add the Lumeris tape light that we talked about yesterday, which Raw2 processors don't have the Clear Connect Type X radio. So,
Hey, Jason, would this be an okay time to pause and get caught up in some of the questions? We have several that haven't been addressed yet. Is that
yep.
okay? All right. So I'm starting backwards, everybody. Sorry. Do the blackouts have side channel options?
So the side channel is available from Lutron. It's not like a specific side channel for these shades, but if you work with your team at 21st, they can help you order the side channels.
All right.
Absolutely. One thing though, with these are exposed rollers, so obviously there'll be light gaps around the top part, especially if they're inside mounted.
All right. And you may have answered this. Is it compatible with Raw2 Select? I know you encourage everybody to move to Raw3.
Yes.
Okay.
The integration slides next, actually. So we're going to go over all the integrations.
Okay. So let's pause then, because a lot of them are about integration on the questions.
Joseph, skylights, these don't have like full frames for skylights, so they're made for vertically mounted windows. Although if you want to reach out, we can help talk to you about skylight solutions. All right, before we get to the next slide, install resources. There are 3 videos on YouTube. I think if not by now, they will be linked on the 21st website as well, under the Lutron resources. Quick, 2 to 3 minute videos, just going over measuring and then assembly. Actually, the assembly one is 4 minutes and 32 seconds. So integration, we talked about this a little bit, but at the most basic level, you can get a little Pico for 30, 40 bucks, pair it right to the shade and make that shade go up or down. A great solution. It's going to work every time. Picos have a 10-year battery life, so they're it's like a Lutron version of a Swiss Army knife is the Pico. There's the Lutron app. If you have Raw3, Raw2 Select, or Caseta. This gives features, scheduling and control when you're away from the home or inside the home. A good reason to maybe, if your customer wanted to just do a Pico, is to add a processor is, they can control the shades without ever touching them. Maybe in the bedroom, they want them to go down in the afternoon because the sun's coming in that side. So you can really add some sauce and extra value that your customers would not get with non-automated shades. And then Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant. Also, I don't know if any of you guys are doing Josh AI, but they have great Lutron integration as well. Caseta ProBridge, Radio Raw 3, and Homeworks.
Yeah, just a couple other things on that, by the way. Just some system specs for Triathlon Select. So I don't know if anyone's ever heard of IHA, Intelligent Hen-Bar Alignment. That's a Lutron term where basically if you have like 30 Lutron shades in a room, they all will move at the exact same pace, right? And it's all going to be in line. When Triathlon Select is standalone, that is not applied. But when it is a part of a system, it will have IHA. So you will be able to set that intelligent hind bar alignment. So that'll be available as part of a system. Another thing is natural light optimization. If anyone's ever seen that, you can look it up on YouTube video. Basically, it's where the sun is throughout the day. Your shades will go up and down throughout the day based on the rotation of the sun. That was never available before for roller shades. It is now available, and Triathlon Select can do that only when it's a part of a RA3 system and Homeworks, not Caseta. But natural light optimization is also available. Wanted to throw that in there.
Yep. So, Jonathan, these can work with RA2. You don't get natural light optimization because that was not a feature that was added. This is a brand new feature as of October 1st with RA3. So now all you need is a window and a pro number. So what do you guys think? Do we make this easy? Are you excited? On a scale of 1 to 10,
I can
type in the
sense
Q&A.
the
How
excitement.
excited are you?
I could sense it. I could sense the excitement. So the big thing is, yeah, we need to get everybody to get a Lutron Pro account, right? That isn't already, and then that's it. You're good to go. So you can start quoting them in all of your upcoming jobs. Anything else for? Oh yeah, a couple other questions.
Sean,
Crest
Run Home. If I'm not sure if Crest Run Home has RA3 or Caseta integration, but if it does, then you would integrate it that way.
All right, Jason, we got our work cut out for us. Next steps, let's get these pro accounts set up and get some quotes in the system so we can start selling some shades. Thank you, buddy, for the last 2 days, for the RA3 training, for this training. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And Jake, thanks for answering some questions for us. Really appreciate it. So we're going to take a quick 10-minute break, and we're going to jump back on here with some hands-on fiber training to close out the 2024 live portion of the virtual roadshow. Also, I want to make sure you guys check out our arcade so you get the top score in Tetris. So thank you so much, Jason. See you guys in a bit.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for an awesome week.
One more, everybody. One more training. See